What's up, Explorers? I'm Jeff from the Cloud Explorers, and welcome back to the Microsoft AI Advent Calendar, the Winter Party Exploration series. Today, it's time to open up box number 10. Drum rolls. Ta-da! We're gonna talk about DALL-E, Azure Open AI service. And DALL-E is one of my favorite Azure Open AI services as it's an image generation API which creates an image from a text prompt. And I really, really love that. Now, that said, unlike other AIs available out there, it does not edit any existing images and it does not create variations. Obviously, like other services, image generation is equipped with content moderation filters built into the service. So if it recognizes harmful content, it simply will not generate an image. Let's dig in. And like with the many other services that we're talked about, the content of the DALL-E functionality is very well described in the Azure Open AI service documentation on learn.microsoft.com. On the quick starts, simply click on DALL-E. It is a preview service. That's why you see the preview between brackets. There's some decent explanation about how to play around with the studio, with Azure Open AI Studio, how to make it work. I'm not going to read it for you. I'm going to show it to you. And the second part that I want to show you is the PowerShell one. In addition, we obviously have C#, JavaScript, Java, JavaScript, Go, Python, and the regular REST API available as well. But as a fan of PowerShell, we're just gonna go ahead with PowerShell next. So let's start with Studio. When you open up the Studio, this is the Studio from the service we created earlier. Simply go to DALL-E Preview, and immediate thing that we can see is it has a tip with a prompt structure. But the more important thing to look for is this deployment. So this becomes available if you deploy it in a proper region, and inside that region, DALL-E 3 is available. If you're wondering which region you need to go, check out the episode about the models, or simply look at the documentation available. I'll again link everything down below. So in our case, we deployed last time the OAI DALL-E 3 model. So that model is now available. And that's the model that we're going to use, because the version 3 is slightly more advanced than version 2. Creates much cooler images, basically. And I already have a prompt ready for us, because we can simply go ahead and write a prompt. One thing maybe to do first is click on settings. In here they have two fields, very simple. Number of images generated, the more images the slower, and we have a max of 3 right now and a minimum of 1, and very basic sizing, 256 by 256, 512 by 512, and 1024 by 1024. Now I expect personally this to become more advanced. The further the service advances. But for now, this is what we have to deal with. Obviously, one last thing to show is there's a sample code in Python and in JSON with the endpoint and the key. We're not going to use that, as in PowerShell we're going to use the key vault that we created earlier. So, no more suspense. So this is my prompt. Snowy winter landscape with a snowman. And let's just generate it, and a Christmas tree, cartoony classic oil renaissance. Let's see if it's gonna understand that I'm trying to actually make it create a cartoony oil painting. There it is. So the oily part, yeah, it did. Look, I can see it in the hat. Actually, that it tried to generate something oily. We have the Christmas tree, we have the snowy landscape, we have the snowman. So we can simply copy the prompt. We can regenerate a new image, we can download the image, show code, and this part I quite like. It actually showed how it got generated. So practical example, or we can simply delete it. That's pretty much it with regards to the studio. So let's jump in and try to do the same with code. Before we actually open the code, let's quickly go back to the documentation, click on PowerShell. And here we have the similar explanation. Again, regions, etc., requirements of PowerShell. Not going to go through it. Please have a read it through yourself. Link down below. And when we look at the PowerShell script here, in contrast to the previous PowerShell script that we used on this or on some of the similar pages, those I simply had to extend with the keyword variation part and almost copy paste them, make them slightly prettier. With this one, unfortunately, that's not the case. I had to majorly rewrite the whole script, as simply this one doesn't work. It does some weird stuff, but it doesn't work. So that's an important thing to know. This script, and I will try to report this through submitting feedback, simply doesn't work. So I went ahead and fixed it in my own way, and let's have a look at that. So first part, key-vault, get the key-vault API key, some OpenAI API settings, base URL version, etc. Our prompt, we're gonna prompt for a winter holiday celebration with a snowman and a Christmas tree, realistic and cartoonish, similar to what we already did. Let's see what's gonna come up. Creating headers, creating the body, creating the API call. Then we simply call the API. The API responds with a submission. We put it, pardon me, itchy nose, into a submission variable. Then I go ahead and create a subdirectory called images. If that's not there, we simply create it. Make a pretty file name, which is basically year, month, date. Well, make it chronologically if we're gonna spam it or we're gonna create multiple ones. Add the name of the image and the file type, and the file type currently supported is .png. There's nothing else supported at the moment, so you have to take it for PNG. Then we do another web request. In this case, here we do a REST method, so we do a REST call, and here I'm simply executing a web request because this web request has the capability of out file. In this case, I simply take the URL from the submission. It's hidden in the data property, the URL to the created image, and provide the image path that we just created here. And the web request will do the rest for me and download the image. So let's go ahead and run it. Now, mega itchy nose. So script is running. I already have the images folder, so it should be, there we go. Web request, downloaded the bytes, and there you have it. This is our image, and it looks actually very, very cool. So we simply went from taking what's available in Azure OpenAI service playground and modified the script. Well, in this case, rewrote pretty much the whole script. And now we can generate images through PowerShell. If you're interested in the code, it's gonna be available. Again, link down below, like we did for any of the other episodes in its own branch. So you can reuse it from day one. So if you would like to see more about Microsoft AI, check out the previous episodes. Subscribe not to miss the next ones. If you liked the video, thumbs up. If you didn't, download the shit out of it. And thanks for watching. And until next time, bye everyone.